This is what happens when you are doing a podcast on a budget.
Is there a budget?
There is no budget.
Was it zero?
It's zero right now.
gosh.
Well, no, actually, because I pay for the space, so it's not.
Oh, are you
actually
really?
Zero. Yeah. Me and Casey met at a. This is Casey, and I'm Heidi.
Yeah, names are good.
And we met at a Comic-Con that was a very small local Comic-Con.
Cosplay World.
Cosplay World.
Cosplay World.
And it was probably one of the most fun that I've had at one because I met some really awesome people, you.
Yeah.
And it was just really fun and intimate and really good conversation. Dressed as
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
It was.
And it was like, okay, this is somebody that likes the.
Well, you were Darth Talon.
And I was Darth Talon,
Throw
which
that
is
in there,
not
too.
Lord of the Rings.
No.
Which I usually don't cosplay of ever because.
What, Lord of the Rings?
No, because it's very like Ren fair, so a lot of times unless you have a wig, and I hate wearing wigs, when you're like the female version, people don't know.
You don't have to wear a wig.
I don't like wearing wigs at all, so I try to find redhead characters. So Tariel is one I'm going to work on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to work on a Tariel because I like Tariel. No matter, I don't care what anybody says. Their characters existed that were like not.
Did you see that she might be in The Hunt for Gollum?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be awesome. Well, I'm one of the nerds that loves The Hobbit.
It's a comfort movie for me.
It is.
Yeah. I usually, if I'm staying up late at night and I can't sleep, I'll put the first one on and I'll watch on my laptop. I'll turn the brightness all the way down and then I'll just fall asleep to The Hobbit.
I'm telling you a little history of how the dwarves were made. So
Here we go.
The dwarves were made in secret by Aule because he wanted to create. So Aule is kind of like if you want to look at the Greek pantheon, like the Valar, which are the gods, they all were in charge back in the day. So Aule made dwarves in secret, and then Iluvatar was like, you can't have these guys. So he put them to sleep.
Go to sleep.
He was going to like destroy them, but Aule was like, please no, and he did it. So this is where the dwarves came from. The dwarves were not created like the elves and men. They were just kind of like the child, I guess, where they just weren't as special.
They didn't fit in anywhere.
Didn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, but like so mighty in them. So during the Deathless.
Yeah.
So he lived to be 500 years old, which they did live very long. So like Dane Ironfoot, who I'm talking about today, he lived to be like 260 something. They had longevity more so than like regular men. Not talking about the Edain or the Dunedain. They lived very long, but they also like at a certain point, like all of them just kind of fizzled out, and it's like what happened to them.
Yeah. Which
was sad. So like what happened with isn't easily broken. It was like, well, it was like sad because they literally all died then. You know, it was like Dane Ironfoot took over, but it was like the line of
you're
was
talking
gone.
about in the Hobbit.
It was gone. Like they all died that whole whole battle.
Even the cousins.
Even the cousins.
Everybody.
I feel like they all died.
Yeah.
So just preview. So now we're talking about the dwarves. We'll just start going into it. So like my story, we're going to talk about the war in the North, which people don't know because of the movies or if they haven't read the book, and it is not a really talked about.
It's not mentioned at all.
It's not mentioned at all. At all.
Yeah.
So you don't know, and like, you know, when I talk about Middle Earth, it's like it was huge. There were all these factions there was all these people groups. So more so than what you see on screen, and more so what you see in the main books, because you have to read the appendices, you have to read the histories
to
get the full picture.
Yeah.
What I love about this story is it's so important and vital to the ending, right? So like they wouldn't have succeeded like they did if they also didn't have all these victories on the other sides, because Sauron, all his forces, if they would have been able to be full force, you know, it would have been devastating. Erebor, Dale was right in front, so there was a big battle that happened, the Battle of Dale. But before that, I want to talk about Dane Ironfoot and like kind of how he got, like who he is, and then who King Brand is, because those are the two big players of this battle. He is actually in The Hobbit, when you see Thorin Oakenshield fight Azog, like that wasn't Thorin, it was Dane Ironfoot. And what's really cool about the dwarves, what I really love about the dwarves, is they get these like names from something in battle. So like Dane Ironfoot got his name in that battle. During that war, it was a 9-year war with the orcs and dwarves, and he got his name Ironfoot from killing Azog. So Azog died, y'all.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. During that battle, and also Thorn Oakenshield did get his name Oakenshield from that battle. He just didn't kill Azog. But he was 32 years old. Dane was. So he was very young dwarf, made a name for himself, and he became king of Erebor after Thorn Oakenshield died.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, R.I.P. But he was also pretty amazing, and him and King Brand, who is the grandson of Bard the Bowman, who killed Smaug. Bowman, which I love. I love Bard's character. I think he's just amazing. And what's really cool about it is you're like, how did Bard like have a line of succession after him, because he was just like this bone? Well, like when you watch the movies and you kind of see how they almost had a little thing going on, kind of like the Dunedain, where they were, because they were from that line of the Edain that fought with the elves during the War of the Last Lions. Civilized group, not as special as the line of the Dunedain from Númenor.
Yeah.
But they
Blessed
were
with
pretty.
long life.
Yeah, they were pretty special.
Speaking of the movie, though, in the book, The Hobbit, you don't really learn anything about Bard at all. But I like the movie version.
Oh, I do
of
love
Bard.
I do love the movie.
Because in the book, it's like this guy shot the dragon. His name's Bard.
Yeah, his name's Bard.
Like,
it was
oh,
like
cool.
Nothing. Like, who is Bard?
Yeah, but in the
Yeah.
movie, it's like, oh, he's a guy. He had a wife. He has kids.
Yeah.
He's respected. Like everyone knows him. And
Yeah.
there's a thing with him and the Master, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I loved
But-
that. See, I loved every single aspect of The Hobbit that was like kind of changed a little bit and put in there. And I don't know. I think Peter Jackson did a beautiful job, and I'll die on that hill. I loved it.
It took me a long time to come around though. It took me a long. When I won't lie. When I first saw that, because I remember when it came out, and I went to go see it with all my friends because we were all big Tolkien nerds, and we watched the first one, and we were like, "What? What just happened?" Like, because in Lord of the Rings, the movies, there was practical effects, it was makeup, and in this one, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the studio, but it was just that big L-shaped green screen.
Yeah.
So like it was a lot of it was CGI. So we were like, this doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings. And then the second one came out, and the third one, and then it took years to be like, it's not Lord of the Rings, it's
Right.
The Hobbit.
Right.
I kept being comparative between the two, but I was like, no, The Hobbit's The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings. But now I love the Hobbit movies.
I love them.
I love them. And there's even a game I play. This is a throwback. Battle for Middle Earth 2
Oh, yeah.
from like 2004 or
Yes.
whatever. I have
I
the
remember
modded
that one.
version.
Yeah.
And you can play as the Lothlorien elves, but you can also play with them, the Mirkwood elves from The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And I always play them because they play the music
Yeah.
for the movies too.
I loved those games back in the day. I feel like they don't make games like that.
No.
They're just not as. But maybe it's because we're old. We're just
No,
like
the
back
games are
in
just
my
shit.
day. Yeah.
They are just shit. The games are shit. Because
It's
everything
like-
has to be online, which I don't get.
Yeah.
Make a good game that like those old RTSs like Battle for Middle Earth 2. So good.
Yeah.
It was so good. I was playing it last night.
Yeah. Well, and you also can play like this is the thing about Tolkien. We can go on these bunny trails, but you could play one of the games. You could play the Prince of Cardaland. They had his storyline in one of the games. I can't remember which game
Really?
it was, but they had it.
Was
His
that
stories
Shadow
in
of
it.
Mordor?
I think it's Shadow of Mordor. I think it is. I'll have to.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Should we look it up?
We should look it up.
Let's
Google
look it up. Here, hold on, 'cause I'm kidding. I don't know where to put it.
Look, we have Enduril here. It's a good sword, and it's big.
It is Shadow of War. It was the first one or the second one, but I played one of them and I was like, oh, this is cool, but
Yeah.
I don't like hack and slashers like that. I like good
Like a
story.
storyline. King Bran expanded the border. It was a pretty amazing story to read and to learn about because Dane and Brand really took that like their friendship and made this really beautiful area. So like they were able to expand, they grew their numbers, and then what is a really cool connection with both of these before the Battle of Dale started was moments where you see the movie. This messenger from Sauron came to the gates and was like, where there's this hobbit with this magical ring. They just said this magical ring, and like, where are they? And they wouldn't give them up, but that's why Gloin and Gimli went to the Council of Elrond. You see all these people at this council. It's like, why were they there?
That's a good point to make too, because in the movie, they make it look like it was a big planned. No, they just happened to be there.
Yeah, it's like why Legolas was there. Legolas was on an apology mission.
Yeah, sorry we lost Gollum.
Yeah.
My bad.
It was like, my bad.
Oops.
Oops. He sent Gloin and Gimli to be like, hey, there's this messenger that came and he's looking for these hobbits, and this is going to be a problem, because he was like, we will offer you friendship and all these things if you give them up, but if you don't, we're going to come get you. And even though Dane and Brand had built their armies and had built this land, they still couldn't match the Easterlings. The Easterlings were crazy big, and I really would like, one of our episodes is going to be on the Easterlings, because nobody knows about the Easterlings or the Haradrim. Like, who were they?
And the half trolls.
Yes, like there's a whole nother world out there. That's why I love Tolkien.
When Sauron got, he called all the evil things to him, and Smeagol came and captured Smeagol or Gollum, and he let him loose, but he was also like trying to strategically go find the ring, but not tell anyone that, hey, I know someone has the ring now, I'm gonna go try and find it. And it was talking about that exact thing when he was sending emissaries out to be like, hey, have you heard someone to send the wraiths and everything out, because then everyone would be like, oh, he knows. So he was trying to do it quietly, which obviously didn't work out very well for him. But
it didn't work out. Sauron and Melkor Morgoth didn't have the perspective or understanding of these human relationships, off of their manipulation that they always worked on. But it's like, it didn't work when they had loyalty and they had these friendships together. And was very steadfast when he was offered. He was like, absolutely not. So Brand and Dane got together, and then when the battle started, so then the Easterlings were like, okay, they're not going to give them up, we're going to go over. There's some arguments on the size and the numbers, because I've seen several different number arguments of how many were there. So there was they said 200,000 Easterlings, but then there's people that were like, there's no way there were 200,000. There's probably more like 20,000.
Yeah, because even Sauron had barely 60,000.
Right. So they're like, there's no way that number's correct. So then dwarves had Erebor.
They had Dale.
So they had all these things that were an advantage. But when the battle started, and sadly, Dane died with Brand. Brand died first, and then Dane died defending Brand's body, which is such a... such a sweet, they have so many things in Tolkien which just get you, because they had these just beautiful male relationships where they had just so cared about each other, and they would die for each other. And then when they passed on the battlefield, both of them had sons, which is really cool, turnaround, because Dane's son was Thorin. He was Thorin.
Was he Thorin the Third or something like that?
It was Thorin. I forget what his chosen name was.
Yeah.
And then Bard. Bran's son's name was Bard. So you have Thorin and Bard
back together again.
Yeah. Fighting, and they were able to drive the forces of the Easterlings away. So they did were successful in that battle, and it was a key moment in that where Sauron was really trying to disperse the forces so that they couldn't help with Minas Tirith, and so decisive battle moments to help in the war, but that victory was very important to the War of the Ring. My did you knows are not Aragorn broke his toe.
Oh, he broke his toe. Oh my gosh.
That's the one that everybody gets so, did you know? And I was like, no, how about let me tell you a really good did you know? I watched, my girlfriend just started watching Lord of the Rings for the first time.
Oh.
She'd never seen it before. So we had a movie night, watched Fellowship of the Ring, and Doran's Bane showed up, and I said, Doran's Bane is the Balrog in Moria. When Doran's Bane showed up, I said, did you know, and Gandalf was there, and I said, did you know that they are both Maya? And she goes, what's a Maya? And I said, okay, we're going to do it.
Now we're going in. Yeah.
So I spent 10 minutes explaining to her why Gandalf and a Balrog are the same class, obviously different.
And Sauron.
But yes, they're all Maya. So it's just a very cool, like, thing to see and very, like, interesting knowledge there. So, like, when you watch The Hobbit again, you can sit there and go, okay, like, now I know when I see Dane that he sent, you know, it's like, you see him at the end and he had his red hammer, which was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has his, like...
yeah. The CGI was just so 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
But we see Dane in 2014, I think.
Yeah. So that was still 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So now we have AI and everything looks real.
Yeah. Yeah, but even thinking, like, let's go back to, like, 2007, 2008, like, Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well,
seeing that CGI.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we get Dane.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Oh my gosh.
You're kind of right there.
Yeah. Like, watch Davy Jones again.
Yeah.
And then watch Dane. It's like, dude, there's like what, 8 years between those two?
Yeah.
Almost 8 years.
It is kind of funny though. Since we mentioned Star Wars, I was talking to really funny is like when the prequels came out, like I loved them. I bought all the shirts, Amidala's shirts, all that stuff. And I was made fun of for it. And then now it's like the cool thing to like Anakin.
I'm so glad you said this.
You know?
This has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, but I'm about to go on a huge rant
This is why we have the shows called Beyond the Shire.
Yeah, I'm about to go on a huge rant. Because I'm like you. For my entire life, I remember when Phantom Menace came out, I remember seeing it in theaters, like, my whole life, super nerd. I used to have the telescopic lightsabers. I used to put towels around my shoulders to pretend they were robes. Like, and I got made fun of all the time.
Me too.
All the time.
Me too.
And I was always, ever since Revenge of the Sith came out, even the Attack of the Clones, I was always an Anakin defender.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, oh, he's so emotional. It's like, yeah, what the fuck do you think? He was a slave for 10 years, and it's like all this stuff happened. And then when Revenge came out, and everyone was so vocal and just completely ragging on him everywhere, videos, online, everything. And I was like, you guys just don't understand the story.
Yeah.
If you don't like Hayden Christensen's Anakin, then you don't understand the story.
Yeah.
Then you only care about flashy lightsabers and like, you don't care about the story. Because he played Anakin perfectly. Mm-hmm. Perfectly. And every single person, I don't care what they say, every single person would have done the exact same thing. Yeah. And for years, being made fun of, being bullied, all defending Anakin, all the stuff. And then now, cosplay is like popular, and it's like, oh, it's cool. You're a nerd. That's so cool. It's like, hang on a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you put your time in?
Yeah.
Let me see your years of service.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just come out of the woodworks now and be like, oh, Anakin's my favorite. It's like, no. Where were you in 2005?
Yeah.
And 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10? Like, where were you through all this? Yeah. Oh, that bugs me.
When
that drives me crazy.
I was getting bullied in high school for liking that.
Yeah.
Where were you? You were the one that was bullying me, and now you're like, oh, Anakin, he was so unappreciated. Get out of here.
I just saw a video 2 or 3 days ago. It was like right before Halloween, and this big, I'm not gonna name names, but this big TikToker, big cosplay TikToker, had this episode 1 Amidala dress with the bulbs on the end, the big red one.
I'm so jealous of that. Goals.
Well, don't be.
Oh.
Because she was misleading in her video, first of all. She said it was made for her, which it wasn't. I found the store where she bought it. Oh. She also said it's her queen Amidala, and I was like,
oh, she doesn't know.
Amidala?
Yeah.
And I commented, I was like, I don't know who Amidala is, but I know who Amidala is. But her whole persona online is being like an Anakin stan, like Queen Amidala fan, like all this stuff. And I'm like, but you got her name wrong?
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of Star Wars lore.
I love it.
For a little context, I used to be heavily into Star Wars when I lived in Orlando. Yeah. I used to cosplay with 501st people, all that kind of stuff. There were a couple big social media people I met being in Disney World every day and just being in that area that would make their whole persona online about being so into Star Wars, but they either hated it or they didn't know anything about it.
They didn't know anything about it?
Yeah, like there's one in California, and she's probably the biggest one in California. You can probably connect the dots. But I had some people who were very close to her reach out to me and be like, yeah, she doesn't know anything about Star Wars. She doesn't even like it. But the whole, your whole social media page is built on one thing. You have to kind of keep doing it.
Have been like, this is your life.
Yes.
Like, it's a lifestyle. Like, when I tell people,
Yeah.
I'm like, me being a nerd isn't because it's cool now. I was bullied. I had
Yeah.
read the
Physically bullied, too.
Physically bullied.
Yeah.
I read.
Not just like, oh, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're talking
Uh-huh.
like
Oh, yeah.
classic bullying.
Classic bullying. Yeah. Because back in the day, there was no cameras and people did whatever they wanted.
Right.
I
Said
had,
whatever they want.
oh my
all
gosh,
that kind of stuff.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I used to read the Silmarillion before Lord of the Rings movies were even mentioned.
Mm.
So I have been a Tolkien reader for that long. I would go to the library and photocopy Star Wars books to make. I made Star Wars binders. It was like, this has been like, this has actually like been me.
Yeah.
So, which a lot of people don't like. When you glow up, they think that there was no way.
Oh, you're like a
was even
bandwagon
better.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I've literally like
This has been my life.
This has been my life. I'm like Henry Cavill. I was like, I was so
Yeah.
made fun of, and like, I don't even know that I'm pretty like right now. So I was
Oh,
like,
I love
so,
Henry Cavill.
you know, so I was like that was like my childhood and how I grew up, and I never went away. So it's kind of like frustrating when you see people and you're like, my culture is not
It's
your
not
costume.
your costume. Yeah.
So I see that a lot, but whatever, do you? But
Yeah.
not saying that you can't just be a new fan, but it is like
No, you can.
it's just like more when you're an old nerd and
Yeah.
you've been committed, and then people take it and capitalize off of it, and it's like not authentic. So
Yes, it's the authentication.
it's
thing
the authenticity
for me.
for me.
And it's not
Yeah.
like Henry Cavill said this best too, but it's not gatekeeping. It's, hey, if you want to, how do I say this? It's like, if you want to be like in this right now, like, it's kind of like, show me your credentials. Like,
Yeah.
are we gonna have a conversation that's gonna be like depth, or are you just gonna be like, oh my god, Anakin's so hot?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's cool.
Oh my god.
Do you even know what a virgins
Do you
is?
know? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's just, and Henry Cavill talked about this when, I think it was in The Witcher, when The Witcher was first being filmed, and he was like, he was asked about toxicity and toxic fans, and he's like, there are no toxic fans because it's just passion.
Yeah.
And that's why he got fired from The Witcher, because he just kept saying, like, I'm not doing this, because the character would never do that.
Right.
The books never mention this. The games never mention this. I'm not doing this. Character wouldn't say that because they've never met and things like that. And it's, I don't consider it gatekeeping. It's kind of like what we've been talking about. It's, did you put your years in? Do you have, not like credentials, or like, do you have the credit to say whatever you want? But it's like, are you just doing this now because it's popular?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are you doing it because you actually like it?
Yeah.
And like, when people are new, because I saw it in Disney all the time, cosplaying Star Wars stuff, and I'd see people who are like 15, 16, 17 years old, and they're cosplaying like Leia or Padme or Jyn Erso and things like that, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like that new people, obviously when new people find the fandoms and they come into it, because it keeps it alive. But I just don't like when someone tries to kind of talk down to you.
Yeah.
When it's like, dude, I'm 32. I saw Phantom Menace in the movie theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I bought it on VHS. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and listen to you because you started watching the movies last year. That's great. I love that you're into it. I like that people get into it, but it's like, let's not confuse.
Oh, I get it all the time as a woman, because when I start talking about, and because I am a well-dressed, clean woman that has good hygiene, I get men that come up to me and they try, it's like my running joke, like, I need to pass out deodorant at Comic-Cons.
Oh, yeah.
A lot with men where I'll say, oh yeah, I know a lot about Lord of the Rings, and they will try to trip me up, and they'll try to
They test
ask
you.
me. Oh yeah, they'll test
Yeah,
me.
they'll
They're
test
like,
you.
oh, but
Yeah.
did you know?
Did you know that Aragorn broke his foot?
Yeah,
Like,
but the questions they ask me are really lame, and I'm like, oh please, ask me something better. Let's go back to the First Age,
yeah.
and let's talk about.
Do you know
this.
why
Do you
Gimli
know
asked
why?
for 3 strands of
Like this?
hair?
And I was like, do you know why?
Yeah.
And do you know Fëanor
Yeah.
kept asking
Like, for her
Galadriel
hair.
for three strands of hair, and I said it creeped her out, and he was kind of like the creepy uncle, and he was just looked at me and he was like, oh, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I do know my freaking shit, okay?
First watched The Hobbit as well. It's all going to tie in together. When I first saw Thranduil, I was like, what? But like, his character in The Hobbit is obviously so different.
So good though.
He's like, I do like him in The Hobbit, but the book version is a little different. I just prefer the book. But when you're watching like going back to the movies where all this stuff, and I understand the movies is like it's more focused on Frodo and Aragorn specifically, so obviously they're not going to show like all the stuff happening in the north.
Yeah.
But when you look at it and you're like thinking like, okay, they went to Lothlorien for like 10 minutes in the movie, what happened after that? They went to Mirkwood for like 20 minutes, what happened? And then you read like, oh no, they were getting hammered like big time. And especially my biggest complaint with the movies is I know that magic in Tolkien's world is more subtle. He didn't want it to be like Harry Potter, like it's really in your face. But I feel like Peter Jackson nerfed the wizards, and especially Galadriel.
Oh, agreed, yeah.
Because like, you know, when they obliterated Dol Guldur during the war, this all happened at the same time, and the elves went into Dol Guldur and just wiped it off the face of the earth. That was Galadriel. She was just like, hurricane, boom, and it just came down and just leveled it. But in the movie, like, honestly, you don't really see Gandalf do any magic at all until you watch The Hobbit, and then the magic he does is like kind of subtle. But it's just like, dude, I would have really liked to seen more of that. And then, even though we don't get to see Thranduil till the Hobbit movies, just there's no mention of him, like, single-handedly fighting off the army, defending Mirkwood and, like, his palace. It's like, dude, no, he's a badass.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
He is warrior king. Yeah. Like, you never see any of that. But, you know, obviously Legolas wasn't there, so it was more focused on Legolas than with Aragorn and the company. But just all that stuff happening with the dwarves in the north, the elves in Mirkwood. And then I was watching something as well, kind of tying it into it all together. You mentioned it earlier where Sauron was trying to kind of fight 10 battles at once. And there's a really good channel on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll send it to you. But he was talking about if Sauron hadn't done that, if he had been like, okay, first I'm going to do Gondor, then I'll do the dwarf. If he had just done one at a time, he would, like, Sauron would have won. Yeah. He would have won the whole war. Yeah. But he was spread. And was it 77 years, I think, years to, like, build up his army, which you don't see in the movies as well. So when all these people are getting hit, like with the Easterlings hitting the dwarves, and then the spiders and everything hitting the elves, and more orcs and everything going in there, and then Isengard with Saruman, it's like 70. If you had 77 years, in 77 years I'm gonna do this, all that prep time, all the army that he amassed, it was enormous, which is why he was talking about more if he had not done that.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as because Morgoth did the same thing. He, you know, when he
too thin, spread themselves too thin.
Right. Yeah. So he did the same thing too, though, where everybody thought because he was so quiet and he wasn't doing anything, they thought, oh well, we just defeated him and he's not. But he was in Tumno, like he was underneath the ground, making these things. Dragons. And like, you know, like when I talk about like, oh, you think Smaug is big, and Calagon, he's a baby. Yeah. And Calagon,
he's a fetus. He's not even a baby.
He's like a little lizard in comparison to these huge, monstrous mountain size. Easterlings is such a very interesting history to talk about too, because of just like how big they got, but where they came from. Like there were Easterlings that weren't bad. Like there were people in Harad that were just there, and they had relations at first, but then they kind of went sour. And you can understand, like the Easterlings, you can understand a little bit of why they went the way that they did, because a lot of them were just scorned and burned by Gondor. Yeah, it's the same with Dunland, with Rohan, like the same with the men in Dunland, like. And that's another thing too. Like every Easterling you see in the movie, and you know, that's what most people have seen. You just assume all the Easterlings are evil. Yeah. Or you see all the Haradrim are evil. But it's like, no, they're just people. They're just people. Yeah, they're just people. They're not orcs. No. So, orcs are evil. Let's get that out of the way right now. Because we will do, you know. Orcs don't have family debates and quandaries about morality. They're evil. There is no daddy of the orcs. There's no Adar. No. Sorry, Amazon. We don't need the Rings of Power. No. Just like we didn't need the Acolyte. Yeah. And it pisses me off, as what we were talking about, like a lifelong fan. Like I have genuinely suffered in my life with these fandoms because of my nerdiness or whatever.
And you get these creatives, these executives at these studios who get handed this like golden ticket of like unlimited power. You can make the best, you can make exactly what people want. Because let's be honest, we're very open fans about what we want to see.
Yeah.
Like, we want to see Revan.
Yeah.
I don't care about space witches.
Yeah.
Don't care about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like, things with Lord of the Rings, like, we want to see the Age of Heroes. We want to see the First War. We want to see Valinor and Feanor sailing. Like, we want to see that. But then it's like, no, you can see short-haired elves.
Yeah.
Who,
buzz cut.
Yeah, buzz cut elves. It's like, we don't want that. So that's behind how bad the shows are. For me, it's behind that, which really sets me off. Because I'm like, you had such a good chance. Just like with The Witcher. Like, you have such a good chance. Like, you have an opportunity to make another Lord of the Rings. To make another Star Wars.
Yeah, Witcher
and they just...
me.
It's like they... Sometimes it feels like they do it on purpose. Especially with the Acolyte. They do things that are controversial in their media to intentionally piss people off, to get a rise out of them. Then they use it as a platform, which Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, said this last year as well, that Disney has like completely lost its plot. They're not making stories anymore, they're making messages. And these people get these shows and they use it to like kind of push out what they think. And it's like, dude, no. You have, especially with the Lord of the Rings, it's been around since 1937. You have almost 100 years of written books, of written story. And it's not just like a couple books. We're talking about books on books on books and thousands of years of history, an entire mythology. And I remember there was an interview with the cast of Rings of Power, and it was the guy who plays Elrond. And the interviewer asked him basically that, you know, how do you feel about kind of expanding and on the lore and the history and all that stuff. And he was like, well, there's not that much written about the Second Age. And I immediately stopped the interview because I was like, dude, that is the most written about age in the Lord of the Rings. It has the most information. And it just shows how out of touch. And like, even with the Acolyte, when they were interviewing the cast of that show, and somebody said that Darth Vader blew up the Death Star. And it's just like, they don't care.
They don't care.
There's no care. There's no process. There's no, okay, you want to play this character? Tell me what you know about the story. Like with Peter Jackson with the Rohirrim, when he was like, you can't be in the Rohirrim unless you recite Éomer's speech at the battle. And then they all did it. He was like, okay, you're in. But they just don't care about that anymore. And the actors who take on these roles don't care. It's like, talking about The Witcher, Hemsworth, the Liam Hemsworth getting Geralt. And he openly said, like, never played the games, never read the book, don't want to go in with preconceived notions. It's like, okay, so it's gonna suck.
He is like the Wish version. And see, I'm very connected to The Witcher because I've read the books. I didn't play the video games because I'm not a video game nerd. Sorry,
Good
guys.
games.
Sorry to disappoint everybody. I have played them before, but I'm not big into it now. But here's why. And I'm a girl power woman. I really, you know, when I've seen some of the interviews, like with talking about how women don't need to be in Star Wars kind of crap.
Oh, I saw that one too,
One of the worst. Sorry, shot yourself in the foot on that one with me. But The Witcher, the director, the woman that headlined the show, she was like, I don't want to make another macho man show or whatever. And I was like, okay, then don't do The Witcher.
Don't do The Witcher. Yeah,
because
that is what it is.
It's quite literally, The Witcher is quite literally, only men can pass the trials. Not elves, not women, just men can pass the trials. Because their DNA is the only thing. And it's like, it's just DNA based. It's not based on anything else. It's just like their DNA is the only thing that can handle these trials. Yeah. So you're going to sit there and try to, like, then make another show. Make something up.
Yes. Make your own thing.
Make your own thing. Don't take The Witcher because The Witcher is a macho dude thing. Like, it is literally what it is.
Geralt is, like, besides Kratos in the God of War, like, Geralt's the most manly man. Yeah, like, I'm going to cut you in half. Like,
yes. And I thought Henry Cavill, like, when you read about, like, his growls, like, in the book.
Yeah.
He literally, like, nobody could do it like Henry Cavill. Yeah. So it's just a very disappointing part when you have invested time
Yes. Not even time when you've been, like we said, bullied your entire life.
Sacrificed.
And you've stood, it's not like you were bullied and then gave it up. You get bullied and, you know, physical, verbal, like all this stuff you go through and you stick with it. And then you grow up to see, oh, the character that I've been loving for 30 years is finally getting a show.
Yeah.
And then you get that.
And then you
It's
get
like, well,
on.
what was all that for? Like in the past, it's so annoying, especially with Rings of Power. Going back to that, like people, I have actually met people who don't like Lord of the Rings because there's not enough women in it. There's not enough female representation, and it's like, well, in the movie, I could see that because that's Arwen, it's Aowen. There's really not much else besides those two. But it's like, well, if you go beyond the movie and you read the book, like, and you start reading about Thranduil's wife, and especially like the Luthien and Beren story, it's like you can't say that. Because when people say that, if somebody ever tells me there's not enough female representation in Lord of the Rings, in my head, I'm already like, then you don't know the story.
You don't know the story because all the women in Tolkien are not damsels in distress.
No.
He didn't make a damsel in distress.
No.
Every single woman character that is in there is so strong and usually saves men.
Yeah.
In it.
Eowyn kills the freaking Witch King.
Like, quite literally was prophesied that no man could kill him by Glorfindel. Like, there was no man can do it, and a woman did. So, you know, that argument is dead.
Galadriel,
it's dead in the water. It's dead in the
arguably the most powerful being in Middle Earth. And it's like, that's again another complaint with the movies, is you don't really get to see how strong she is. But it's like, she's one of the last elves that saw the light of the trees. Like, it lives in her. And it's like, you never expand on that. But with Rings of Power, going back to the whole just shredding of a story, and I get that, like, you know, when Tolkien made the story, a lot of people don't know this as well, it is a mythology for England.
Yeah.
Like, if you're changing the essence of the story and changing the story for that, then it's like, well, then it's not the same story anymore. Like, why does Elrond have shorter hair than I do? Yeah.
Oh, that.
Why did he have a blowout in the first season and a perm in the second? Why do the elves look like humans?
Yeah.
That bugs me as well.
Yeah.
They're not humans.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to look like us. Like, the whole point why Orlando Bloom got cast as Legolas is because he has elven features. He has the, you know, angular jaw, the pointed nose. It's like, that's elves. Are supposed, when you look at them, I think I just said when you look at them, you're supposed to be like off put. You're supposed to be like, whoa, what am I looking at?
And they were very large and tall in stature. They did. I felt like Peter Jackson portrayed them well, and then Rings of Power did not at all, because they looked very much like a normal people. Yeah,
if you hid their ears and you could just non-distinguish them from a human, then that's not an elf.
That's not an elf.
That's not an elf.
No.
It's the elf. The ears are not the only attribute that makes them an elf. It's the height. People. It's the face. It's the hair. It's the way they stand. It's the way they walk. It's kind of like with the way I think about it is Stephenie Meyer's Twilight. Yeah. When she talks about the vampires, how they have to make themselves move, otherwise they'll just look like statues and they're dead. Like, that's how I like think about the elves, because they're so. Not only are they just elegant, but they're just. Yeah, when you look at them, you're just supposed to be like, what am I looking at? Like, what the hell is this thing? That's an elf. And then you get Rings of Power, and it's just like, oh my god, what am I looking at?
I don't think I've ever been more what the fuck during every single episode.
Yeah.
Than in anything else. I literally was like, it was a big disappointment.
Yeah. And I tried, I think I told you this when we first met, but when I was watching Rings of Power, the first episode, it lost me in like the first 10 minutes because they called Sauron a sorcerer.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, dude, are you kidding me? And I know if anyone, I can already hear the typing. Sauron was a sorcerer. Yes, he was. He was a sorcerer. He was also a werewolf.
And a vampire.
Yeah. But he was a Maiar.
Yeah.
He was none of those things matter because he was a Maiar. And they never, in the movies, Lord of the Rings, they never talk about that.
Yeah.
Which bugs me as well.
Yeah.
But I thought, with Rings of Power, we're going to deep dive into the lore. Surely they're going to talk about this.
And they did not.
Nope. he's a sorcerer. He's just a guy who does magic. No, he's not.
Mm-mm.
He's not. And they did it again. And they not so much that the content sucks, which it does. It's the mentality behind it. Like, you have this golden egg. Like, you have unlimited opportunity.
Yeah.
And you're just
And so much
shitting the
material.
bed. Yeah.
They just did it. Yeah. We're going to be back with another episode where we're just talking about Tolkien and
Stuff.
Beyond the Shire.
We'll
Beyond
talk
the
about
Shire.
Game of Thrones one day, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about Game of Thrones.
Big time.
Big time. That's a big sadness. And
Oh, yeah.
we'll show off our toys. You know, anything goes here. So
Yeah, there's no rules.
there's no rules. So
Well, there is one rule.
yeah,
There are no rules.
there are no rules. I'm Heidi,
I'm Casey.
and this is Beyond the Shire.